So a few episodes back, I made this cowboy bedroll to use at a special scout camp that I had to go to where we were not allowed to take a tent or anything with us. We just had to sleep out under the stars. During that weekend that I was supposed to camp, it was supposed to thunderstorm the entire week, which it pretty much did. So I made this out of a waxed canvas tarp. That's kind of the base of it. And if you missed that video on how to make this, I'll put it probably at the beginning of this video and you can watch it there. In that video at the end of it, I had it all rolled up and I said, if you guys are interested in seeing what is inside of this, I'll do another video. And a lot of you were very interested on what's inside of this. So what is a cowboy bedroll? A cowboy bedroll would be something that would be traditionally on the back of their horse or something as a cowboy is out in nature and they've got to spend the night somewhere, right? They don't usually pitching a tent somewhere, right? They just kind of roll out and sleep next to the fire. Well, this is kind of that bedroll mentality off of a Harbor Freight green canvas tarp. So the base of this is, like I just said, the Harbor Freight canvas tarp. We wax the whole thing so it's completely waterproof, and then I put some things inside of it. The intention is to, when you get to where you're going to camp, you can have this slung around your shoulder or whatnot, and you get where you're going to camp, you roll it out, and you can sleep in it. So it's a little bit more than just a tarp covering you. I've got some other stuff inside for a little bit of modern day comforts. The outer base is held together with these just two leather straps held together with these buckles. Now, I didn't buy this. This actually came with a wool blanket that I had that's actually inside of here. So I used this just to retain everything and hold it together. On the outside, on these two little buckles, kind of D-rings that this strap has on it, I hooked this paracord gunsling to it. So I use this because there's a bunch of different configurations on this tarp that you can use, or this kind of bedroll, to set up different types of sleep systems depending on your weather. And having cordage is a good thing to have. So this isn't, there is cordage inside of here, but this is kind of like a backup emergency of, hey, I need a lot more cordage. You can get some with this and still be able to take it mostly apart and still have it functioning. So that's why I went with this kind of gunsling. Let's get this thing unbuckled and I'll show you what's inside of it. It's gonna unroll it. All right, so with it unrolled, you can tell it just still kind of looks like this green tarp. So there are some other things inside of this. To start, underneath the flap here, I've got rolled up, I've got a bag with a little can of just like cheapo titanium tent stakes, but I've got two of these like 6-inch loops. So I can take these loops and loop them through parts of the tarp, through the grommets, and now I have tie-offs that I can tie things off to or lash onto other sticks or something or whatever I come across. So I've got two of those in here. Then I have a couple different hanks of paracord set up. So I've got a 12-foot long ridge line if I want to just tie a ridge line off and throw this over top of it and stake it down. Just a simple A-frame style tent. You can do that without any of the grommets. Just tie a string across and tarp down or stake down your four corners. These are 4 2-foot long strands of paracord, again, just for tie-offs, little simple tie-offs if I need to tie something off or lash a stick around something or whatever. Then I have 2 6-foot long hanks of paracord with carabiners at the end of it. So these are easy to just hook around something or lash around a tree. I can take the weight of the carabiner, sling it around a tree if I can get my arms around it or something, clip to it, and then pull it tight and lash around one of the grommets or a tree or whatever. And then, so those are 6 foot, and then I've got one 3-foot long one. I used to have 2, but I think I lost it at the scout camp. So I've got one of those 3-foot ones. So that is what's inside just this little bag. And there's tons of room still in this bag here that I can add more things to if I need to. For example, like bug spray or a flashlight or something, if I wanted to have a light in there, fire starter, whatever. If I want to contain everything just in my one bedroll, I can add more stuff to this as I go. Let's see what's inside. Inside, I have a really thick, heavy-duty wool blanket. So this is my main blanket to keep me warm. The outside acts as a shell, keeps the water off. It does retain a lot of your heat, but this also adds an extra layer. When I did go to the camp, it was fairly cool at night. We were still dripping down into the 40s or so, and this kept me really warm all night long. On top of that, I have an inflatable pillow. So this just was flat. You can do a bunch of different ways. They have the foam ones now that kind of crush down or whatever. This is just what I had available at the time. It's got wood chips and stuff all over it, dirt and things. But just an inflatable pillow, so you're not laying on a rock or something. And not much more to say about that. And then finally, you can probably already see it underneath here. I have my Thermarest Neo air mattress in here, so you can fill this. They do have a bag that you can like an air bag that you can inflate these with, and like 3 or 4 bags of air. If you wanted to include that in here, you can. It would totally roll down flat, wouldn't weigh anything. I didn't add it in, I just blow it up with my big ass mouth. I blow that up and that makes a really nice, comfortable sleep system to lay on. The tarp and the blanket add a layer of protection. So if you do have sticks or rocks or something on the ground, that helps it so that it won't pop your air mattress. And then it makes it a lot more comfortable than laying on the ground, honestly. So that is pretty much everything that's in here. You can add, like I said, add other stuff if you wanted to do that, but this is basically how to set it up. So I roll it all up, and what happens, how do you set it up when you get to where you're going? There's a bunch of different ways to set that up. Like I said, there's the traditional way that I just said. You basically take this, you stick yourself down inside of there, and you kind of roll everything up, and you make a makeshift sleeping bag style thing. So it's a layered sleeping bag. You've got your insulated lower mat, you've got your warm layer for your blanket, and then you've got your outer shell, which is the tarp that kind of keeps everything waterproof. I wouldn't suggest that for like heavy downpour rains though. For light rain, misting overnight, just general, keeping the dew off of you, keeping the bugs off you, whatever, this system works great. There are a bunch of different other ways to set up your tarp though, which comes in handy with those ropes and those stakes. First one is kind of a lean-to type shelter, right? You put up a bridge line, or you can go from grommet to grommet and pull it taut, and you can have kind of a, if you split your tarp into quarters, you can have 3/4 of it down and 1/4 over, kind of make you a little roof, makeshift roof or a lean-to or whatever. That will keep rain off of you if it's driving. As long as you're not getting like a driving wind blowing it towards you, you usually want your back wall towards the wind so that it's not blowing rain on you. And that's plenty of room to even sit up, stay protected out from underneath the water, the rain and the weather and stuff, and still give you the ability to lay out your blanket and your sleep pad underneath it and lay on the ground. And this still does provide some good protection against poking through and stuff. I would still kind of clear off the area if you can to make sure there's nothing that's going to pop your sleep pad. Another way is to stake one end down to the ground and then take 2 ends, and you can tie them up, or you can get sticks, or however you want to do it, even hiking poles, and put the middle 2 grommets kind of up in the air, and then take those corners down and stake those down. Kind of makes an open-sided kind of wedge type tent. So you could set that up and you can crawl yourself inside, and the rain, if it does fall, will wash off and go down towards your feet and hopefully roll downhill, because you want to be sleeping on somewhat of an angle, right? And that will drive the rain and the weather away from you. Still has an open end so you can get some air circulation in there and you're not breathing all night creating condensation and moisture. There's a bunch of other different ways to set this up. It all comes down to your imagination, how you want to work with your ropes and the trees in your area, whatever you have in the area to be able to set this up. Like I said, you can do A-frames, you can do triangular tent type configurations. There's a bunch of different ways. The bigger the tarp, the more options you have as far as setting up shelter configurations. However, the bigger the tarp, because it's canvas, the heavier it gets. I think this is a 6x8, to be honest, a 6x8 canvas tarp from Harbor Freight. I feel like this is a perfect size for individual shelters, and it keeps kind of that weight down a little bit. If you don't want to go the blanket route, you can just put a regular sleeping bag in here and roll it all up. It's up to you. Just keep in mind that the more bulk you add in here, like this is real thin when it's down, right? When it's not inflated. The more bulk that you add to this, the bigger it's gonna be when you roll it up and the more awkward it's gonna be. The larger it gets, the more awkward it is to carry and take with you. The point of it is that it's mobile. So this would be great also for motorcycle camping and things like that. If you want to just go motorcycle, you know, if you're on a motorcycle and you're touring and you want to stop somewhere and sleep, another great option. If you don't want to go that tent route or hotel route and you're trying to be one of them good old hard boys from the past, you could do that too. So with all that being said, if you like this type of content, subscribe down below, give me a comment, thumbs up, do the liking, sharing, all the things, and I will see you on the next one.